Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly at tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing a fully gem set 42mm white gold Rolex Oyster Perpetual Yacht-Master. This right here is the extraordinary and rarely seen gem set 226679, a timepiece that is effectively off the books, as many of the Rolex gem set watches are. This is not something you'll find on their website, and it's generally not something you'll find in their catalogs. So these gem set pieces are all handcrafted and made in low volume. They are the antithesis of modern Rolex mass production. So 42mm in white gold, this is the basic watch that arrived in 2019. It's 11.7mm thick, which makes it quite thin for what it is, and 50.3mm from lug tip to lug tip with a 21mm spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and get a good look at how it wears. It wears much like the standard 42mm white gold Yacht-Master. It has the same water resistance at 100 meters. It has the same wrist presence. And I will say that a white gold watch with set gems is less overtly glamorous, perhaps, than a yellow gold or rose gold watch against which the gems would create more of a contrast. That said, this is still high style for the confident man. This is not one for the bashful. This will stand out quite a bit no matter where you wear it. And of course, the timepiece, flat enough to fit underneath the cuff, but really not the kind of watch that is supposed to disappear underneath a sleeve of any kind. This one is for being seen. Because it is large, I recommend you wear it on a wrist no smaller than 15 centimeters in circumference. Now, while the contrast between diamonds and white gold might be fairly subtle, the contrast between white gold diamonds and black rubber is stark. Now, this is the Oysterflex strap bracelet. That's what it's called. It's not a nickname. Oysterflex is very much a bracelet. It has rubber cladding on the outside, but internally, it is a titanium nickel alloy that is extremely pliant and flexible, which means this cannot be cut. So there are several different lengths of Oysterflex used. There's also a bellows system underneath that acts as a sort of sprung clinching mechanism for clinching and cinching this down to fit your wrist. But there are options. You have here a rare non-dive watch use of glide lock in a Rolex. So this is 6 increments of 2mm, far more adjustable range than the Rolex Easy Link system. Here you get 12mm total, and you can use this for fine-tuning the size, and then once you've found the size that you like, you just lock it down. It works like that. You have a clasp that is double locking. You have first the beak and the hook system that's a spring-loaded lift lock. That latches once, and then the clamshell locks over it. You can see that there's polish on the flanks, polish down the center. There's a little kerf underneath the Rolex crown to dig your nail in, to withdraw it. Important to note here, Rolex doesn't just do its own gem setting by hand in a special gem setting atelier. It makes its own alloys, it has its own foundry, and yes, it makes its own white gold. This is what's known as gray gold. It's a white alloy that never needs to be plated with any material, and it's white all the way through, in contrast to rhodium-plated white gold of cheaper varieties. Now, the watch does have exquisitely gem-set crown guards, lugs, and while there are brilliant gems within the case components, the bezel, which remains functional, features baguette gems set in invisible settings. So what that means, we'll get as close as we can here, is that there are no little pincers. As you can see on the brilliant cut gems, there are little pincers, one at each corner of each gem, whereas here you see the inner track, you see the outer track, but the gems just slot in between the tracks and they stay there. Now, Rolex has optical equipment representing the only part of the gem setting process that's automated. Their gem setting uses optical scanners to ensure that the color and clarity of each gem is identical, so that there's no variation or gradient as you move across from gem to gem. The dial features white gold indices, white gold hands, and a black lacquered base. We'll do a loom shot right here. As you can see, it is quite well loomed. Inside the case, underneath the solid case back, we have Rolex caliber 3235, bi-directional automatic winding, 70-hour power reserve, stop seconds, quick set date. It's rugged with a winding rotor ball bearing instead of the older jeweled staff on the 3135. We have a full balance bridge with a free sprung index, again, more shock tolerance. We have a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring that helps the watch to earn its COSC chronometer certification, but it's the movement that's COSC certified. Rolex cases up the movement and then tests the whole watch in 6 positions, not just 5, to run no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per day. The superlative chronometer on the dial now means something. That overcoil hairspring is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium that makes the watch exceptionally anti-magnetic. All of this beating away at 8 beats per second, pivoting on 31 joules. There is lots to love. Rolex makes every part of the watch, including shock protection, Paraflex, and even the lubricants used in the movement. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for pricing details.